We're on the road with Mickey, we're gonna have some fun. Regardless of the rain or sun, our trip has just begun. So buckle up, let's go, we're about to start the show. And maybe if you like us, you'll see where else we'll go. Hi everybody, I'm Sophie, he's Mike, and she's Brenda, and welcome to On the Road with Mickey. If you're returning for another adventure with us, welcome back. We are so glad you have returned safely. And if this is your first episode with us and you're new here, welcome. It's so nice to meet you, and I'm going to show you the reins today. First up, we have our Cheddar from the Big Cheese, which is basically our Disney news snippets. And then after that, we have our feature topic, which is what we talk about for most of the episode. And then after that, we have our This Day in Disney History, brought to you by me. And after that is our game of Who's Who, and that is brought to you by Mike, my dad. Fair warning, I'm almost never wrong when it comes to this game. I almost always win it. And then after that, Brenda will be giving us a quote from the big man himself, Walt Disney, and it's just going to be amazing. So buckle up, keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the car at all times. Make sure you're safe, fasten your seatbelts, all that good stuff. And we will see you on the road. It's time to get going. Let's go!
Hey everyone, I'm Mike, and she's Sophie.
And she's Brenda.
Hi, everyone.
And he's Grogu, and we're on the road with Mickey. This is episode 109 for February 14th, 2022, and I want to give a very special happy Valentine's Day to my girls, Brenda, Sophie, and especially Cindy.
Happy Valentine's Day, y'all.
Aw, happy Valentine's Day to you too.
Thank you. And our feature topic this week is our Pixie Recap. We are looking at the highlights from Universal Orlando Resorts. Last week, Brenda and I were fortunate enough to go to our Pixie Vacations conference, PixieCon.
Yep.
And we had a great conference, and we learned a ton, and we experienced a ton. And we want to talk to you a little bit about Universal Orlando Resort.
Yep.
So that's what this episode's about. But before we get started, of course, we have our Cheddar from the Big Cheese. And Sophie, you're starting us off.
All right. Well, just in, the Walt Disney Company earned 23 Academy Award nominations for the 94th Oscars, which will be presented on March 27th. Oh my gosh, that's so
That's
exciting.
awesome. Yeah, I saw
That's
Encanto
fun.
was one for the animated movie. It's nominated
Oh, of
for animated
course.
movie of the year. So,
I
Yep.
am not
yay!
surprised.
Let's hope
Yeah.
they get them.
There
That's
were
awesome.
a lot of nominations over a
Yeah.
lot of different movies. So good
Yep.
job. Well
Good
done.
job. Good job. Well, unfortunately, Disney Cruise Line announced recently that the debut of their new ship, the Disney Wish, has been pushed out to later in the summer. Originally slated to make its first sailing on June 9th, that's been pushed back to July 14th. For those affected by the delay, though, if they can maneuver their schedules, it's pretty good news for them. Disney's reaching out to them to rebook or refund their deposits, and additionally, those impacted are being offered a 50% discount on a future cruise departing by December 31st, 2023. 50% off is a lot of money.
That is a
So if
lot
you
of
can
change.
maneuver your schedule a few weeks, that's a lot of money.
That is a big time deal.
So I hope that works out for anyone who is supposed to sail. I know it's disappointing, but they have to do what they have to do in these COVID times, and
Yeah.
the ship's delayed. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yep. And then lastly, this is Cheddar for me and Sophie and Brenda, and especially Grogu, because I think he watches more than any of us. But we wanted to take a moment And thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our YouTube channel. We have just crossed over 100 subscribers. So we were able to create a custom URL. And for the geek in me, that means you can go to youtube.com/c/on the road with Mickey, as opposed to it being some long string of alphanumeric characters.
Wonderful.
And it's
Oh,
just
that's
so cool that it
amazing.
does that. So thank you to everyone that has subscribed
Yes.
and brought us to that
Yes.
level. And if you haven't subscribed and you want to, the link is in the show notes. You can subscribe there and hit the notification button to turn on notifications, and you'll see when the next video appears.
Yay.
So thank you, everyone, for
Thank
following
you so
along with us.
much. Happy to have you all here.
Yeah, we just love being able to have that for you guys.
Yay.
And don't forget, there's all the different ways that you can connect with us, especially in our Facebook page and our Facebook group, and on Instagram and via email. So if you have anything that you need to talk to us about, then reach out to us. And we love hearing from everybody.
Yeah.
So that takes us to our feature topic, our Pixie Recap, and especially our Universal Orlando highlights.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to kind of take this like a Q&A session. Sophie has a few questions for us, and I thought Brenda might give a little overview of what she liked best, and I'll give an overview about what I like best, and so forth. So we're just kind of going to round table it a little bit. And Grogu, I don't know if he has any questions or not. Did he come up with any?
He'll piggyback off of me.
Okay. So
All right.
there you go.
Well, to start off, and I'm just going in order of how I think the trip went for you guys.
That's perfect.
You guys, well, first things first, you had to travel to get there. So,
Yeah.
Daddy, I know that you took the train, but Miss Brenda, how did you get to Orlando?
I flew Southwest for the first time since February 2020. That was my first flight.
Oh,
Wow.
I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
I did great. It was great.
And no pressure or anything. This isn't a sponsored video. Just how would you rate the experience?
It was good. Being at home and not having to wear masks daily, having to wear the mask the entire time in the airport, the entire time on the plane, the entire time, in the next airport and in Florida. It was like being back about a year ago, but I got used to it. I was glad to be home, but the flight was smooth. I used to call them stewardesses, the flight attendants. I didn't see that they had any difficulties. I know sometimes you see in the news, because everyone's got a phone, that there's people that won't put their mask on and all those things. None of that stuff happened. It was very smooth.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. And Daddy, you told me a little bit about the train, but do you want to tell the audience how that went?
Sure. So I took the Amtrak from Raleigh, North Carolina to Orlando, to the Orlando station. It was a single train. I didn't have to change trains. And I originally bought just a coach seat. So I would be in a seat, but not have any sort of special room or anything. But one thing I learned about Amtrak is if they have availability in their sleeper cars, their roomette, which is like a 2-bunk kind of small room, or a bigger room car, you can bid to see about getting that. And I put in a bid, and I was able to get a roomette on both going down and coming back, which what that does is you don't have to stay in a seat the whole time. They convert your seat into a bed, and it could actually sleep 2 people. So they have an upper berth and a lower berth, and I slept on the lower berth. They put a mattress down on it and everything like that. You get a nice blanket, and you also get meals. So I was served going down. I had dinner and breakfast, and same thing coming back. I had dinner and breakfast, and they would bring it. You could either eat in the dining cart or they would bring it to your room. And I had a bit of a cough, so I elected to just stay in my room the whole time. Um, Going down there was a bathroom that was just a little bit down the hall. Coming back, the car I was in had a bathroom right in the room, but I actually found that to be harder than going down the hallway to the bathroom, like in an airplane type bathrooms, Brenda.
Mm-hmm.
Because it felt more cramped to try and use the bathroom in your room.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like it was better to have it down the hallway. Um, but it was a good experience. Um, it's lengthy. I'll tell you, I left at 9:10 p.m. to go to Orlando, and I arrived the next morning at 10:33. And coming back, um, I left at 7:25, and they had some issues at the beginning, so we got back in at like 10 o'clock. So it was longer coming back than it was going down. Um, and there was a lady that was going, and the train went basically from Miami to New York City. And I
Wow.
picked it up in Orlando. And there was a lady that was going to New York City. And we just talked on the platform just briefly. And she mentioned how um, she wouldn't get to New York City. She was leaving at 7:25 p.m. like I was on that train. She was not going to get to New York City till like 6:30 the following day.
Wow.
PM.
Wow.
So it's a
Yeah.
long day. That
Yeah.
is a long trip. And
Neat way to
if
travel, though. Neat
it's
way to
neat,
travel.
and it's
Yeah.
nice to be able to not have to worry about your driving, and if the airfare is too expensive, then it's an alternative, but it definitely has some time, so you got to factor that in, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, and for someone who loves to read but never ever has time to read, I would really enjoy traveling
Yeah,
that way because you can.
yeah,
Yeah.
What else can you do, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. So I I'm glad I did it. I think my preferred method to get to Disney or Universal is always going to be car. Um, and I think I still would put flying ahead of the train because it's
so
just so
much
much
faster.
quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but this is an option if you need it.
Awesome.
So I'm glad I tried it out though, and I'm glad I was able to experience that and kind of dived
Yeah.
into how that all works. So it's definitely an option though for some people, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
Um, so there you go, Soph.
All right. All right. And well, I guess obviously after you guys went on the traveling part, you guys went to a room. Uh, I know Daddy had to like switch rooms halfway through or something because he bought his own room for one night and then the next nights of the vacation, the room was complimentary, I think, from
It was
Pixie.
paid for.
It was paid for as part of our conference fees. So
Gotcha.
so yeah, so Brenda was smarter than I was because she asked about it, and they gave her the room that she was going to be in for the conference. So she had to do
Ah.
like a check in, but she didn't have to change rooms. Is that right, Brenda?
Yes, I had reserved just, a standard pool view room, and I asked Alejandro when I checked in, who was ultra helpful. I loved the guy. Um,
Hmm.
I said, with the block starting tomorrow, is there any chance I could be put in that room so I don't have to switch? And he said it was like a $30 upcharge, and I gladly paid that to not have to move all of my things,
Right.
repack up, move all of my things. So it really worked out well. I was very grateful.
Yeah.
Ah, I
And
see.
and I was in I had reserved a room, and they gave me a room, and Beasia was my travel agent, or my person helping me check in, and and she actually helped me both days. And I didn't think to ask her about that. So I had like a standard room that would sleep four, and I put pictures on my Instagram and on my Facebook, but I'll maybe list some post some pictures later. But it
Yeah.
was a real nice room. It would sleep four, and it was really, it's a nice room. At Cabana Bay has really nice rooms, I feel like, for what you get. And then the room that I had to switch to was a suite, so it would sleep up to six. So
Ah.
so it had a seating area that was like a pull out couch that would open up into a bed, a couple chairs. It had a kitchenette, Sophie,
Mm.
and then the bedroom part of it had the two queen beds, and it had a doorway that you could close for the privacy for if your kids were going to bed or whatever. And it had a split bathroom, so that means it had one room was a toilet, and then the other was the shower, and they had sink in the shower, but they also had a sink space in between the two sections of the bathroom. So you had basically two sinks. So so it was nice. You could have someone in the shower or the bathtub while someone was going to the bathroom. So it makes it nice, and it's a really good setup there. So
That does sound like a really nice room. And
yeah.
you actually answered the question that I was trying to segue in, which was, how did you guys enjoy the rooms at Cabana Bay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brenda's back.
I'm
Always
so
good to see.
sorry.
No,
That's
you're
okay.
fine. No apologies. There's nothing wrong. And Sophie I was just telling her about the suite room, Brenda,
Yeah.
and she was asking how we liked the rooms at Cabana Bay.
Yeah.
Since we didn't try the regular room with just, the two queen beds, have nothing to compare it to, but I like several things about these rooms. Number one is I like I like having the small fridge, but I also like how the living room area closes off with a sliding door. So you actually do have some privacy if you're, say, a family and then maybe, friends or something in the same room. It gives you some privacy.
Some boundaries.
Yeah.
I do like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I
And
also like how the toilet area is in one closed off door room, and then the shower and another sink is in the other closed off, and then you have the sink right in the middle where you can get ready. I like the space. I think they did a really good job.
yeah. And one thing I don't think, now correct me, because I've never stayed at a suite like a Lion King room or whatever at Art of Animation, but the kitchenette at Cabana Bay came with a microwave, and I know that there are some of my families, with especially ones that have special needs and
Hmm.
special diets for their kids, have asked specifically about microwaves. And if I'm not mistaken, you don't get a microwave at a room at Disney unless you maybe can request it, and they're not guaranteed or something like that. Is that?
Well, the family suites at Art of Animation do have microwaves.
Oh, okay. So they do. Okay, I
Yes, they
didn't
do have
realize that.
microwaves in those rooms, but the regular rooms don't. But of
But
course,
the
villas
regular,
have like full kitchens. So,
yeah.
but the family suites do have a microwave in their kitchenette area.
Okay. So that's not any different than over at Disney then. But it's still nice that you have that option.
Yes, for sure.
Um, Especially if you're going to be there a while and you don't want to just, you know, go out to eat all the time. You can,
That's right.
you got
Yeah.
enough space you can put groceries in and whatnot and all that. So it gives you options on your dining for sure.
Yes, yes, it was very good.
All right.
All
So
right. Very nice. Um, well, I guess I know that you guys spent most of the trip talking in the conference calls and stuff. Uh, But what was your free time like? I know you guys took an extra day to enjoy Universal. Do you want to tell me about that?
Sure.
Go
Brenda,
for it,
do you
Mike.
want us? Okay. Um, so we arrived, like I said, Brenda and I arrived on the 2nd. The conference started on the 3rd. And so on the 2nd, um, Brenda and her sister were already at Universal at the parks when I got in, and I met up with them at Hogwarts, not at Hogwarts, at Harry Potter, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, um, outside of Gringotts in Diagon Alley. So Diagon Alley is on the Universal Studios Florida side, and then Hogsmeade is on the Islands of Adventure side. So there's 2 parks, and you can take the Hogwarts Express between the 2.
As long as you have a park-to-park ticket.
You have to have the park-to-park ticket. So absolutely, you have to have that, or you cannot ride it, and you can't go to both parks on the same day without a park-to-park ticket. And Sophie, for comparison, because you've only been to the park once, and it was
Yeah.
a really quick day. It's kind of like being at Disneyland.
Very much.
Disneyland and California Adventure, you got downtown Disney separating the 2, and it's kind of like a similar concept over here in Orlando with Universal. You've got Universal Studios, and you got Islands of Adventure, and you got City Walk, and they're all right there together. So you really want a park to park because it's so easy and so short to get from one to the other that it really makes it worth it, especially with the Hogwarts Express train.
For sure.
So, and on
I
the train,
see.
Sophie, what's
Yeah.
cool about it is that when you're going from Diagon Alley to Hogsmeade, you see the scenery a certain way, and you have the same experience that Harry did with the Dementors,
Whoa.
coming on the train and whatnot. And it's all, it's just a short little train ride. But it feels like you're going a lot further than you really are. Um, and then coming back, it's like you're leaving Hogsmeade station and you're going to back to London at the end of the school year. So it's kind of neat,
Yep.
you know.
Yep. On that first day, we also had an all-important treat.
Yes, we did. Tell us about the treats.
Oh.
Well, we had ice cream from the ice cream shop right there, and I had a waffle cone with soft serve pistachio ice cream, which I only ever have at Universal. And what did you have, Mike?
I had a waffle cone with chocolate ice cream, but Sophie, it wasn't chocolate like you would normally see in soft serve. It was white and had chocolate syrup mixed in to make it chocolate
It
ice
looked
cream.
good.
And it was so good.
They were so
Oh my
good.
gosh.
So good. That ice
Yeah.
cream shop there has really unique flavors. It's really good.
How do you say it?
Yeah,
Sophie?
I know.
Florentine Francesco's, or however it's said. I'm horrible with
have
the
no
name. You know what I
idea.
mean, right? From Hogsmeade, over at Hogsmeade, the ice cream shop.
Flourish and blots?
No, actually not Hogsmeade side. This was Diagon Alley side,
Yeah,
wasn't
it was
it?
Diagon Alley side.
Diagon Alley side. I'm
It's
pretty sure
Flora something.
Diagon Alley
It's
ice
Florentine.
cream.
Yeah. Sorry that
Florian Flortiscues.
There you go.
Yeah. You remember when he ran away because he saw Sirius as the dog, as the Grim.
Oh.
Remember, and he was put up at the Leaky Cauldron to stay there until school got underway. And he would eat the desserts at Florian Fontescue's. I'm still saying it wrong, but that's where we had our ice cream.
It was good.
And it was really, really good.
Good.
Wow.
So we enjoyed some rides. We enjoyed some great ice cream. It was a great day.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, for rides, Brenda and her sister Pam did. Um, you did
We did Men
Escape
in
from
Black,
Gringotts.
Escape from Gringotts.
Ooh,
And
very
then we did
nice.
together, we did Jimmy Fallon's ride, and we did what else did we do together?
We did the
Transformers.
Transformers ride.
Man, I love those rides. They're so super cool.
Yeah.
They're just
Nice.
super cool rides. I mean, what can you
Yeah.
say?
All right, and so I'm not going to ask about the work-related side of things because I don't know if you guys are allowed to talk about that. But if you had to choose a highlight of the trip, like an absolute highlight, what would it be?
You know, we're allowed to talk about some of the work stuff, because a lot of it was mainly bouncing ideas and interacting with our fellow agents
Yeah.
about what works for your business and what works for your business, and kind of helping everyone to see that what works for one person, it doesn't always work for someone else, but there might be things that you can try out to see if it does help your presence on social media and help you with your sales and things like that. And part of it is also about being able to be face to face, because so much of what's been going on with COVID, we haven't been able to have any face to face time other than like we're doing through Skype or
Right.
GoToMeeting or Zoom or whatever platform you use for your remote connections. Um, so it was great to be able to have that interaction with them.
Yeah.
And it helps also if you're a newer agent, like some of our pixies are newer. It helps for them to be able to hear that it's not always about a number. It's
Yeah.
about the teamwork and helping. If you're not getting the results you want, well, let's try something else and see if we can't get results from that. So for me, the absolute bar none highlight of the whole trip is our one-on-one time, our pixie time, where we are just bouncing ideas off of each other and hearing what works for one client or one agent and what didn't work for others, and just feeding off of each other's thoughts, and really drawing that connection, because it's all about, we are in a people industry. We're agents. We are helping our clients to have and make the memories that last for their families, that will last the test of time. And we all have that passion for our
Yeah.
clients. And it's just it's just incredible to be able to share that passion with each other, you know.
Yeah.
So that is bar none, far and away the best part of it for me, regardless of the tour and all the stuff we did. That was the fun side of stuff. The takeaway for me is always in the conference time.
I think for me it was too. I think it was obviously being with the Pixies, being with the Pixies and sharing that time and encouraging each other and just being able to see old friends that I haven't seen in years and being able to meet new friends in person and give them a hug, and I've waited forever. And but
Mm-hmm.
that VIP tour, I'm sorry, that VIP tour where you just walk right onto all those rides, there's just nothing like that to me.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. I just am so grateful for that. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
So let's go over that VIP tour, shall we?
Yeah.
So
Please.
for anyone listening who isn't certain what that's about, okay, if you're staying, if you are visiting Universal Orlando Resort, one of the options that your agent, or you can work on your own if you choose, but one of the things you can do is schedule either a private or a non-private VIP tour. If you do a private VIP tour, they have different time slots that you can get it set up for. and you basically the private is only for you and your family, and the non-private you can have up to 10 people in two families. So you might have some people that you don't know, but you might get to know them through the tour, and they might become friends. So there's advantages to both. Um, and for the private tour, if you do a morning tour, then you get breakfast and lunch. Um, but in our case, because of the timing of when we did it, we only had lunch, and we had lunch at a place called La Bamba, which is exclusive for people that are doing private VIP tours. And this is something that Pixie scheduled our with our representatives from Universal Orlando Resort, and that's why we were able to do it. And beyond the lunch, the whole point of it is that you have two tour guides, and they are taking you to the main attractions, the top billing attractions at Universal, and you are able to experience them. Like Brenda said, you're walking straight into the line, um, and you're not having to wait in line because you paid for the VIP tour, and in addition to riding the rides, you also get a lot of cool backstory about it, and you get to see parts of the park that you don't normally see
Yeah.
because they're off limits to regular guests. Like, we walked past the studios where they filmed some of the Universal Studios stuff.
Yeah.
We saw where they would film the show for Slime. I can't remember but it was like that slime
That double
show.
dare thing or
Yeah.
whatever, where their families went on and they'd get slimed.
Yeah, and then we also saw where they film wrestling and things like that, and that's all stuff that you don't normally see in a normal park day at Universal. So it's really
Pretty
neat,
cool.
and you get to experience a lot of neat, really cool rides without having to wait. And then if you're a guest and you do decide to do a tour, what's really cool is after the tour is over, which the tour is normally what, Brenda, about half of your park day?
Yeah, I think it's 7 hours.
Okay.
So if you do, for instance, the 9:30 in the morning one, you're done by 4:30.
Yeah. But the park is usually still open after that time is up. And with the park being open, after your tour is done, you are still able to ride the rides using the Universal Express Pass. So that gives you a similar experience where you don't have to wait in the regular line. You use the Express Pass line to get almost front of the line access.
Yeah, and you don't
So,
have to buy Express Pass at all for that day, because you can just continue on using that for,
from your
until
tour.
9 o'clock or whenever the park closes.
Yeah,
So
so whenever the
that's
park
a
closes.
win-win for sure.
So you get that advantage as well. So it is definitely something to look at. And if Disney also has VIP tours, but if you compare the two, I think it's a safe bet to say that the Universal tour is better and it's less expensive,
Yes, I
distinctly
agree.
less expensive. So if anyone is interested in that, you can reach out to Brenda and I, and we'd love to help you plan your next Universal trip on that.
Yeah, so much
Um,
fun.
it's definitely something to consider.
Yep.
So what rides did you ride, Brenda?
For the VIP tour, I rode everything except Hulk and Velocicoaster. I cannot do those fast outdoor roller coasters, but I rode everything else. So
So
we had so much fun.
so you rode
Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, which is my fave.
uh-huh.
Escape from Gringotts. We rode, what else we ride? I'm trying to think. I think I have it in my notes, actually. Let's look. Was that day 2?
That was
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so some Pixies rode the Hulk and Velocicoaster. I did not.
You rode Kong.
We did ride Kong. We rode the Hogwarts Express.
Both way. I rode it both ways.
Jurassic River ride. That was fun. Yeah, that's all I have on here. We rode a lot. Did we didn't ride Transformers again, did we?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
I didn't
And
think
we did
so.
have, we were going to ride Spider-Man, but Spider-Man was having an issue. So that one we
Yeah.
weren't able to ride.
Oh.
But it was okay. I didn't ride nearly as many because it was, my back was a little gimpy and I didn't want to make it worse. But I had fun in everything I did. And I saw, when you don't ride, the guides will take you to an area so you can see most of the attraction, and especially with regards to Hagrid's motorbike adventure. Oh my gosh, the smoothness and the way that it goes and the
Awesome.
curves is absolutely incredible, Sophie. And it is, and just for anyone not knowing, Hagrid's motorbike adventure roller coaster is the longest outdoor roller coaster in the entire state of Florida, and it's almost a mile long.
Wow.
And it goes fast. It goes really fast.
And it looks so smooth. And each car will hold two people, one on the motorcycle and one in the sidecar, just like what happened when they were leaving Privet Drive and they were trying to get away from the Death Eaters.
Yeah.
So
awesome ride.
So it's a really slick looking ride for sure. So all right. So that that is one that I wish I had ridden, although I'm glad I didn't try and push it. So but that is one that I wish I had ridden. So
I see. Well, that is all my questions.
Okay.
Is there anything else you guys can think of that you want to touch on?
Yeah, I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about some of our dining options that we had. I'll start with Cabana Bay is a prime value resort. So it has a food court section, doesn't have any sit down restaurants. But in the food court, it's called the Bayliner Diner, and they have stations just like Pop Century would with their different stations and what you can order, or French Quarter, having the Sasagula food court. So there's a place you can get a burger. There's a place you can get, other different things, Chinese type meals and so forth.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But one of the things that interests me most was their grab and go options, because a lot of times you just want to grab something and take it and go eat, and you don't want to wait for them to prepare you a burger or whatever. And I tried that several times and actually had they have hoagies and things like that you can get that are fresh made, and they were really, really good. They had a ham hoagie, they had a turkey hoagie, and it's basically your meat and your cheese and your bread, and you can buy chips to go with it, and you can get a bottled drink, or they have icy, Sophie. You'll be glad to know that they had Coke icy.
Yep.
And they also had blue raspberry. Which Sophie has been missing at the movie theater because she loves a good blue raspberry ice.
They
also had really good pre-made salads.
Yeah, they did have salads that were pre-made.
They were really tasty.
Really good. So they have a lot of good stuff that you don't have to wait for them to prepare. It's already been prepared ahead of time, and it was good, and it's fresh. So definitely some options there if you just want to grab a quick sandwich, or cereal and milk and so forth. But they, of course, they have regular stuff too. The regular waffles. I had a Belgian waffle with strawberries and syrup and butter, and it came with sausage, and it was good as well. So they have a lot of different meal options. And then on the first day before the VIP tour, the reason we didn't do a morning VIP tour is because we did site visits for 4 different hotels. We did
Aventura.
Aventura, and then we did Sapphire Falls, and then we did Dockside.
Royal
Well,
Pacific.
Royal Pacific first, and then Endless Summer Resort, which has a dockside and a surfside. So really, we did 5 almost. Um, but but we ate breakfast on that first morning at the Aventura
Urban Pantry.
Urban Pantry. Yeah. And I had pancakes there, Sophie, that were so fresh and so fluffy and so hot and so good. It was made right when I ordered it, and they were really good.
And I
So,
had the American breakfast with the scrambled eggs and bacon and biscuit and hash browns, and it was it was really a good breakfast.
yeah,
Wasn't
Oh,
any
good.
powdery eggs or any, it was a really good substantial breakfast.
yeah. So the beauty of it, Sophie, from a perspective of where you are, okay, Cabana Bay is on this side of the street, and
Yeah.
Aventura is just on the opposite side of the street. So it's really easy to get to.
Mhm.
And so you're not walking a mile to go get your breakfast at if you wanted to go eat at this other place. And you can go over there and eat, and it's just open, it's not like you have to be a resort guest at that resort just to eat there.
Yeah.
So
I
so it's
see.
really convenient and it's really close. So if
Then you
you
can pool
are
hop, go in the
yeah,
pool after that.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They have Universal, you can pool hop. You don't have to stay to the pool you're at for your resort. So that's an option as well. So there's a lot of benefits to staying on property at Universal, and anyone that is curious about it, let us know because I'll tell you the pricing is very competitive to staying on property versus staying off property at
Yeah,
Universal. And
Mm.
sure.
what you get makes it worth it. Really makes it worth it in my opinion.
Me too.
So,
I agree totally.
and then we were fortunate enough that the first night we ate at Cowfish, which Sophie said is up here in Raleigh, also Brenda at
Oh,
North Hills
awesome.
Mall.
Well, it
Um,
was. I don't know if it's still there, but I remember driving past it with my parents when they were going to take me to school over by Hills.
okay, I didn't know it was there. Um, and that's a quite a interesting blend. They have sushi, and they have fish, and they have burgers and stuff like that, and they have some really unique items on their menu. I went totally cheap out and just went safe, and I had California rolls, and they were good, but they were no different than like going to Wegmans for a California roll. So that's
Mm.
something to keep in mind. But Alex, who was there with us at the conference, he tried this bacon double cheeseburger sushi roll thing that they basically take the burger and they cook it all up and then they wrap it with potato straws and then they cook and then they fry it up and then they cut it like it's a sushi, like it's a roll of sushi, and it's your burger all in sushi pieces. And he said it was really good, and he would try it again. He would have it again. He thought because he wasn't certain because Alex isn't a fish guy, and he wanted to make sure that there was no fish in there, and
Yeah.
there's not, and he really enjoyed it.
Well, good.
So they have some unique options that I think I need to try that one next time if we eat there again. So,
All right.
and then Brenda, where else did we eat?
We ate at Big Fire.
Huh?
Big Fire's like a grilled. I mean, it's a grill. It's a Big Fire grill. It's a restaurant with. It had a lot of different choices though. Y'all
Mhm.
had all kind of appetizers I couldn't have, but you had like a cheese fondue thing with beef in it or something with bread, and what else? Sausage, and
Yeah.
it had a lot of appetizer type things.
Yeah.
I had a really good salad there with like cranberries and like honey granola and pumpkin seed. It was just really, really good and fresh. Very, very fresh. And I had the pork belly mac and cheese side, which was awesome.
Sophie
And
loves
I
her
know
mac and cheese.
some of the other table, I think, had the s'mores, the after dinner s'mores dessert,
They
where they
did.
bring you like a round
Ooh.
charcuterie board with all the fixings for s'mores, and you fix it at the table, which looked pretty cool. We didn't get that because we were stuffed.
We were stuffed. I didn't order a dessert, and I'm telling you, I had a 6-ounce filet mignon. It came with carrots and like an herb mashed potatoes, and it was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And that meat was so tender, which you expect with a filet mignon, and it was like melts in your mouth kind of tender. It was so good. I had that was a really good meal, and I really enjoyed it. And all those appetizers that Steve ordered were were really good as well. Bread with like an herb butter and like a preserves of some sort, jelly that you could put on it.
Mm.
And then that cheese fondue was really good, and it was just everything was really good at that restaurant. So it was worth. I'm glad we ate there.
I would
I'm
definitely
really
go back
glad we
there.
ate there.
Yeah.
So, and then
All
the
right.
last main dining that we had, and I think it was perhaps my favorite, was when we ate at Portofino Bay. Has a restaurant. Portofino Bay is one of the premier hotels at Universal Orlando Resort, Sophie, and
Mm.
they have a restaurant called Mama Della's, and it is an Italian place, Sophie, and everything
Ooh.
is served family style. And so they had several different Italian dishes. They had um, what was the chicken one that they had, Brenda?
They had it was like a chicken fettuccine. It was like a chicken fettuccine Alfredo.
Yeah,
That's the only one I could eat because, of course, I can't have nightshade, so I can't have anything else that has tomato in it. And everything else had tomato in it except for the salad. But it was
Oh.
very, very good. I did not feel like I was doing without. I mean, I couldn't have the lasagna. I couldn't have,
Oh.
but it was really good. It was
yeah.
really
And they had lasagna, like Brenda said, and they had egg noodles with shrimp. And I'm telling you, the shrimp were about the size of my fist.
They were
They were
humongous, weren't they?
huge shrimp. And it
Goodness.
also had salmon, but I'm not a fan of salmon, so I didn't have any of that part of it. But and then the breads, of course,
And the
um
cannolis. Oh,
and
those were
they had
good.
desserts. They had cannolis, and they had tiramisu, right? And
Yeah,
they
the
had
Italian cheesecake.
and an Italian cheesecake that was like a sponge cake kind
It
of
was. It was a
texture.
different consistency. It was very
Yeah.
good.
And it starts off like Brenda said with a salad. And it
And
was
bread.
in the bread. The bread, of course, bread is always makes everything better. So so it was a really good meal. And the highlight after the meal was they brought in their little band.
They're singers, yeah.
It's like a
Ooh.
mariachi band, but it's not Mexican, so it's not a mariachi band. But they come around and they took requests, and Brenda had them. She requested that they play her daddy's favorite song. And what was that song, Brenda?
Danny Boy.
And they
Oh.
played it, and
Oh, they did a fantastic
oh, it
job.
was incredible. It was incredible. And they sang happy birthday it was
And that's
Courtney's
amore.
birthday that day. And then
Yep.
they sang That's Amore. And it was great. And they
Very
got
good.
their instruments and they're just playing, and everyone enjoyed it. It was just
Beautiful,
really good.
beautiful. If you
Really,
are
really
in
good.
Universal today, listening to this on Valentine's Day, go to Mama Della's tonight and have them sing to your loved one, because it would be a really special thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and if it's not Valentine's Day when you're able to enjoy that, make it Valentine's Day when you go.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
it was a great meal, and it was very nice that we were able to enjoy that.
Yeah.
So that kind of wraps us up as far as what we were talking about in the different meals and things like that. City Walk is a phenomenal place. And, if you are ever interested in going there, you can go to City Walk just on your own. If you go to a bar, you might have a cover charge, but there's so much to see and do and experience without even being in the parks that it's really a great venue and a great place to just kind of explore and shop. And that's where the Ravenclaw book, Sophie, that I gave you
Oh,
came
yeah.
out of the Legacy store, right?
Universal. Yep.
Came out of the Legacy store at Universal. And I'm just so glad I got that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
And there's one more thing Mike and I have to share about Universal that we talked about a lot, actually.
mhm.
And
Oh,
that
please
was,
do.
if you're thinking about staying at a value property and you're thinking it's not going to be convenient, it's going to be a pain, let me tell you, and Mike will tell you too, that shuttle service at Universal
Oh my
was
gosh.
right on. It was
Yeah.
the most efficient shuttle service. We never waited more than 2 minutes for a bus. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it is I think it's because of the economy of scale. You know, at Universal, everything is so
Close
close
together. Yeah,
together
you're right.
that they don't have to have, and they don't have as many resorts, so they don't have to have as many buses that have to go to as many different resorts. So the shuttle that Brenda and I picked up, being at Cabana Bay, we would pick it up at Cabana Bay. It would go across the street to Aventura. That's how close they were. And they would pick up and drop off there, and then it would go over to City Walk to the shuttle drop off place, and that was the only places it needed to go.
Yep.
So inevitably, we'd get there, and there'd either be a bus already there waiting for us,
Mm-hmm.
or there would one pull up like within a minute or two,
Yeah,
and it was incredible. It was awesome.
it's
And
very,
then
very convenient.
and coming out, if you're coming out of the parks and you go down and you go to your shuttle location, inevitably the same thing was happening. And it was just, and it's because they're able to run those all
Yeah,
day,
just in a
and
loop.
there's such a close loop that it makes it going from your resort to the park like a 5-minute journey, you know,
Yeah,
and you don't
really
have to worry,
fast.
it's really fast. And because of everything being close together, you go through security once. You go through security right when you get off. You go through the X-ray machines and whatnot, and then you're in and you're done. And you don't have to worry about going through security to get into the parks because you've
Right.
already been through, and that's all there is.
Yep.
Wow.
So that shuttle service was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Absolutely right, Brenda.
All
So,
right.
so that was
I
our
think,
experience. That was our conference,
yeah, that wraps it up.
and we had such a good time. I'm glad we did it,
Yeah.
and we had a really good event. It was a great event,
It was a great
and
event.
and kudos to our bosses, Steve and Lisa
That's
Griswold,
right.
the owners of Pixie Recap, because they are what make that conference the conference it is.
That's right. They
Absolutely,
put a
it
lot of
starts
work
from
into it.
them.
Yeah.
They put a ton of work into it, and it showed. You know.
Yeah.
We
So way
really,
to
really
go, Lisa and
appreciate it.
Steve. We love you guys.
That's right. Rock on, Pixie.
Rock on Pixie, exactly. All right. So does that wrap up our feature presentation?
I think it does.
Okay. Anything else, Brenda?
Nope.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
then that takes us to
Back to
this day.
Disney.
Back to
Yep,
Disney.
that's
Look at
right.
that. Just like that, we're at
That's
we're
right.
at the castle.
Close proximity.
And Sophie has this day in Disney history. So
I
take it
do, and
away.
I'm very excited about this one. This happened in 1938 on Valentine's Day, February 14th. It was the day after Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs Radio City Music Hall debuted. And the New York Times publishes a review by Frank S. Nugent. I don't know how to pronounce that.
I
Nugent
think
is
it's
right.
Nugent.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Of Disney's first animated movie. Page 21 contains a drawing of Dopey and these words. Sheer fantasy, delightful, gay, and altogether captivating, touched the screen yesterday when Walt Disney's long-awaited feature-length cartoon of a grim fairy tale, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, had its local premiere at the Radio City Music Hall. Let your fears be quieted at once. Mr. Disney and his amazing technical crew have outdone themselves.
Oh, that's
Nice.
wonderful. That gives me goosebumps.
I know.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
And we have the advantage of history to know just how
Yes.
much of a success that movie was.
Oh wow.
But if you were there reading that in 1938,
Wow.
absolutely, you'd be like, wow, that is some high praise. So way to go.
Yes, that is awesome.
Great
Thank you,
history.
Sophie.
Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you.
All
Shall
right.
we play our game? I missed this last week while
know.
someone was
I
away on a business trip. A business trip.
Hey, we really worked though.
We
Oh,
worked our
we
tails
work.
off.
Yeah, I know you guys
Sophie
did.
mentioned at one point the vacation. It was not a vacation because if it had been a vacation,
I would have
then
been there.
Butch would have been there.
Yep.
And Sophie would have been there, and Cindy would
Cindy
have
would
been
have been
there.
there. Yep.
So it was not a vacation.
Yeah.
And I have a great
Oh,
character for this week.
okay.
You're gonna
Yeah?
love it. You're
Oh,
gonna love
boy.
it, and I am gonna put down that you're gonna get it really quickly.
All
This
right.
character,
I'll give you the benefit of me having my eyes closed.
this character was a guardian.
A guardian. Okay.
This character was demoted though to a gong ringer.
Mushu.
That's it. Whoop, 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 whoop. I told you were gonna get it.
I love Mushu.
Very
I know.
good.
And
Very good,
later
Sophie.
on, his loyalty with Mulan, even though his ideas for Mulan didn't really pan out, his loyalty to her and his loyalty to her, especially over any personal gain, made him eligible, and he was restored back to the role of guardian for the Fa family.
I love it.
Yep.
So
Yay.
way to go, Sophie.
Way to go, Sophie.
So
Thank you.
that is my Disney Who's Who character. Mushu from Mulan.
Yep. And you know what? Honor on our entire family. Make a note of this. Honor on you. Honor on me. Honor on Grogu. Honor.
That's right. Honor.
All right then.
Then
Very
that
good.
takes us to Miss Brenda with a little bit of Walt.
I have a little bit of Walt. This is kind of a long quote, but
Good.
I'm going to say it and then I'm going to leave it right there and I'm not going to say anything else.
Okay.
Okay? The one thing I learned from Disneyland was to control the environment. Without that, we get blamed for the things that someone else does. When they come here, they are coming because of an integrity that we've established over the years, and they drive for hundreds of miles, and the little hotels on the fringe would jump their rates 3 times. I've seen it happen, and I just can't take it because, I mean, it reflects on us. I just feel a responsibility to the public when I go into this thing that we must control that. And when they come into this so-called world, that we take all the blame for what goes on.
Walt Disney. Yeah.
Times have changed.
He
Sorry,
was
I
such
wasn't
a
going to say
great
anything
man.
else.
Yep.
Yep.
And with that, we are going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Next week, we are talking about celebrating birthdays at Disney.
Yep.
And we're going to focus on things that you can experience and enjoy at Disney for your birthday. Some things that may be different now because of COVID and because of the changes, but some of the things that we've experienced over the years, at least. And we're going to also have a special sing along. I'm going to call it a sing along for a very special family member for next week. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
My lips are sealed. You're not getting anything out of me.
Yep, and Grogu.
Speaking of birthdays, Sophie.
No. Shh.
Somebody that's our fearless leader on the podcast celebrated a birthday during our Pixie conference. And that would be...
Okay, fine. We'll talk about this one, but only because he's here and it already passed. Happy birthday, Daddy.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Thank you, ladies.
On February 6th, Mike celebrated his birthday, and we celebrated in Pixie style, but we do have to mention it today because even though it's gone, it's definitely not forgotten.
No,
thank you.
Definitely not.
Well, thank you guys. Are you going to sing now?
Only because you asked so nicely.
You can say no.
Say please.
Please.
All right, and a 1 and a 2. Ooh. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Mikey.
Daddy.
Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Yay. Thank you, ladies.
We love you, Mike.
I love you guys too. And just for the record, if anyone is wondering why it sounds like that, it's because the recording really, it makes it hard to time it correctly amongst all of us singing at the same time.
Absolutely.
So it's like we don't hear and we gotta slow it down to make it match, and it's just really weird. But but we experienced that, didn't we, Sophie, when we were singing happy birthday before for Brenda.
Yeah.
But anyway, it still means a lot. So thank you, ladies, for singing, and thank you, Grogu, for singing. I heard him most.
He's very happy that you heard him. He was conducting too.
He was conducting, yeah. So that wraps us up. I'm Mike, she's Sophie, that's Brenda, and he's Grogu, and we hope you all have a great week ahead, and we will
see you on the road.
Bye, everyone.